Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine. I'm your host, Manuchehri. I'm not going to talk a lot at the beginning of this podcast. I'm just going to go straight to the phone lines and start answering questions. So here we go. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm glad you're all here hanging out with me. It's a beautiful evening in the Pacific Northwest. Charles is waiting for his second and final dog walk of the day. So that's my plan, is to do that. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Hi, Marie. This is Alicia from California. I have a question for you, and I'm hoping that you can maybe read my energy, see if I have a block somewhere. I'm feeling energetically blocked. I've been meditating and working on pulling the energy out of my mind and into my body for a while, but specifically when I sit in meditation to ask my higher self, what's in my highest good and what direction I should be taking, I feel blank.
Yeah.
And I've been working on this for some time, and I feel like I'm just kind of going in circles trying to connect with my higher self. I've been also working on self-love and healing my past self-criticisms. So I'm wondering if you can see anything or have any advice or guidance for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia, for your question. So you're doing the right thing. You're sitting in meditation or about to do some automatic writing. You're helping to move your energy away from your brain. Excellent. But this is really a two-part exercise. You have to raise your vibration because trust, happiness, psychic information, even wealth are high vibrational experiences. So when psychics are getting information, professional intuitives, let's say, from the universe, because people will say to me all the time, how do you know that? And in order to get information from the divine, you have to raise your vibration because the energy of the divine is a high vibration. And I looked at your frequency and you run about 50%. So if we were to measure your vibrational frequency, like how you run your energy most days, and if the measurement was 0 to 100, you're at 50%. You need to be a minimum of 65% to start to get information from your higher self. So that means you need to get happy. Now, maybe you'll get happy before you sit down to meditate, which I recommend. And let's say you finally get your energy in your toes or you feel more centered in the lower half of your body, you got to get happy again. Creating high vibrational energy is kind of a constant activity because humans will drop their vibration really low quickly. So the fact that you're at 50%, which is complacency or contentment, like everything's okay, nothing's terrible, but not everything is phenomenal, which is what you want and what you deserve, is to have phenomenal experiences, to be delighted and surprised by your union with the divine. Right? And make heaven here on earth for you. So if you could work on raising your vibration so you could consistently vibrate at 65% or higher, you're going to have way more success in connecting with, or I should say feeling and receiving the information from your higher self, because you're already connected. We're all connected. We don't disconnect from ourselves, our true selves, ever. But it's like we're not on the same floor. It's like you get in an elevator as you're raising your vibration, and you want to get off the elevator the closest you can be to your higher self, because we can't be at the same frequency of our higher self unless we're experiencing a near-death experience or, we have crossed over. So humans need to work on getting happy authentically. It's not a fake it till you make it scenario. You must identify what makes you happy as an individual, because I think happiness is a unique experience. And that's another reason why pulling your energy away from your mind, so you're not in your mind going, well, this should make me happier. This is happiness. Happiness is not a mind made experience. It's an emotional experience and the brain can't feel. So reminding yourself maybe on a weekend about the things that truly bring you joy by asking, am I happy now? As you go do another activity, now am I happy? What about now am I happy? There's a lot of things even in my life I don't even participate in unless my energy is elevated. Like right now, as a household thing that I'm dealing with is the back of the dryer, that the silver tube that hooks up to the vent. Mine keeps coming off. I know. When I had the vent cleaned a little while ago, they just didn't put it back on, and it's kind of weird. It's oval, and then the vent hose is silver. So I don't even try to rehook up that thing. Of course, I can't dry clothes unless it's hooked up, unless my energy is elevated. It's going to be way more fun. Yes, I need to figure out a permanent solution so I don't have to do it ever again. But if I walk by the laundry room and go, ugh, because I see that thing's down, I'm not even going to try until I've gotten happy, which will be on a completely different topic. Maybe I'll go on a dog walk, or I'll see the faces of my grandchildren. Two of the grandkids were here today after school. I see two grandkids almost every day because they live like 5 minutes from my house. And my daughter, their mother, works for me part-time. And so I see the kids often. And today, one of them, the youngest, was kind of driving her mom a little cray-cray. And I knew she was. Her mother is very patient, a super great parent. But it's so funny because I said to her, I'm just telling you this because it made me happy. I'm just giving you different aspects of what happiness feels like. I said, your youngest reminds me of all of you, except for my oldest, which is the daughter in question. She was definitely more of a peacekeeper, followed all the rules. But my other two children were kind of, especially my middle daughter, were kind of precocious and, more determined about what they wanted, which Allie is. And it was driving Mariam a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Because Allie's even walking to my refrigerator and saying, I'm going to get another popsicle, even though her mother told her she can't have another one. Even though, yes, they are organic and low sugar, but she's already had enough sweets. And Mariam's just looking at me like, and even though I want everyone to be happy, it just raised my energy so much because it reminded me when my kids were little. And I like that precocious kind of daredevil, little sparkle in your eye and smirk on your faces. You're sneaking off to the refrigerator, hoping that the adults will chase you and tackle you and tickle you to the floor. So you need to start exploring what brings you joy as the unique individual that you are. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like, we don't need to judge what makes us happy. Like, even the fact that my daughter was a little annoyed, but I was thrilled with the interaction. I'm not going to judge that. I'm just going to go, wow, it raised my frequency. It raised my vibration. And so I've put down my notes because I was doing some work and just enjoyed the show so I could raise my vibration. Getting answers from your higher self, from the universe, from spirit guides is a 2-part system. Getting out of the mind, so we're not thinking about it, and raising your vibration. So try that. Get happy and practice on getting happy and keep working on getting happy. And when happiness comes spontaneously, like what I just described, like this interaction today, sit with it as long as you can, because it's going to calibrate your subatomic particles to be familiar with that vibration and stay in that vibration and enter that vibration more often. So that's why I just put down my notes, the computer, and just bathed in the silliness that was occurring right in front of my eyes, so that I could have more calibration of that high frequency joy. Good question. Thank you.
Hello, Marie. This is Geeta from Jakarta, Indonesia. My daughter was serious, brooding type with angst in her when she was here. And I've heard that after transitioning, our people retain their characters, qualities, and quirks, but also that everyone is happy in spirit or heaven. Is my daughter happy,
Yeah.
light, and carefree now?
Yeah.
That's my question. Thank you.
Hello, Geeta. I'm so sorry for your daughter's passing. And yeah, she's really happy on the other side. So some people keep the quirks, as you're talking about, that they keep that because they're still working on it. Like, they didn't do a lot of inner work on earth, but people who have done seminar work, who can easily process through it and get rid of some of their low vibrational beliefs and activities, when they cross over, they immediately go into joy and they don't exhibit those personality traits, which your daughter does not. She's very content. She says she feels like an angel on the other side. She loves flying around the other side. She said she loves everything so much from that perspective. And she was trying to learn how to be in that spirit of mind when she was in physical form, but she couldn't do it. It was really hard for her. So, yeah, she's perfectly fine. And she doesn't have those traits, but you might notice them or feel them if she gets close, because she's going to exhibit things that you would recognize as her personality, or even a smell. Like if there's a fragrance that you have associated with her, she's going to show those things to you when she gets close. And she says she gets close to you and buzzes by often. She likes to describe it as if she's an airplane and she's getting really close to the tower, to the technical tower in the airports. That's what she thinks of you, as this tower, this big being in her life, and she likes to buzz by. So keep a lookout for that. But yes, she's very happy on the other side. And again, I'm sorry she crossed. That's no fun when that happens. I'm very sorry.
Hi, Marie. My name is Camille, and I'm calling from Blue Lake, California. A year and a half ago, I had a fallout with a colleague at work. It began with her not showing up to work, and then when she did, ignoring our employer and then myself, until I confronted her about it. I thought it was a misunderstanding and could be cleared up, but my colleague refused to give an inch, and so we did not reconcile. I tried a second time, but I was shut down again. I've had a lot of time to reflect and see how I could have handled things better on my end, but I wish there was a way to move past this somewhat. I'm not expecting friendship, but I feel like it's holding me back somewhat energetically.
You're holding yourself back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your input.
You're welcome, Camille. Stop thinking about this. 100%. Stop thinking about it completely. You're holding yourself back on this. You're the one who's re-engaging into the conversation, and the situation happened 1.5 years ago. Who cares? Just completely let go. Have no expectations. Just do your job, show up. Yeah, I would just completely let go. This is a great opportunity for you to learn how to surrender and get out of the way, which I do think is one of your challenges in this lifetime. In some respect, it's all of our challenge. When something weird happens, we may try to hold on to it to kind of resolve it intellectually, but you can't resolve anything intellectually. Things can only be resolved by surrendering and if we need it, getting some intuitive impression. I don't think you need anything. I don't think this is that big of a deal. I just don't think you should spend one more second thinking about it or talking about it. I would love it if you go to work not even reflecting about it. Just pretend like it never happened. Just say to yourself, babe, what if this never happened? I love you so much. And just go about your day. Yeah, just a waste of your time and energy, except for learning how to surrender and get out of the way. Yeah, that'll be fun for you. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Katie, and I live in central Wisconsin. When I was 13 years old in 1996 and 1997, I had a large tumor grow in my lower lumbar and sacral spine. It was benign, but it was large and grew in such a significant location in the body.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that I was not paralyzed in the surgery to remove it. And I actually lost half the blood in my body during the surgery. Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful for my miraculous outcome, considering how many things could have gone otherwise. But now that I'm learning about energy, I'm extremely curious what may have caused it to grow to begin with, and how it may have impacted my energy and life since. I'm thankful every single day that I wake up and can use my fully functional legs, but I have navigated through depression and anxiety for significant portions of my life. Low self-esteem as well. I'm curious if it's related, since the tumor was located in the second chakra region.
Right.
I would love any insight you can provide. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Katie, and congratulations. You're probably born with this tumor. I can guarantee you 100% you chose to have this growth in your back as a child. Any serious disease processes that occur during childhood are pre-ordered prior to reincarnation for really good reasons, for the soul's reasons. So you're also not great at letting go. And you've been intellectualizing this and trying to figure it out through your mind. You can't figure things out through the mind at all. So first of all, you had skilled, beautiful, amazing surgeons. You were not meant to be, paralyzed by this. Long surgeries, because I'm sure that was a long surgery because the spine was involved. People do lose potentially copious amounts of blood. And this was a while ago, right? And meaning that there could be new technology or tools that have been created to prevent large blood loss. I just wouldn't spend any more time thinking about this, but I will tell you what it means. Yes, it's the second chakra, but it's the back of the second chakra. The back of the second chakra is about our will. And our will is supposed to be aligned to the divine, not ourselves, not the human perception of who we are. Because the will of the human perception of who we are is going to be very limited. It's going to be full of a lot of dialogue and language and unnecessary things, where the will of the divine is magical. It's special. It's higher awareness, takes our breath away. It's very, very profound. It could be that one of the reasons why you were born with this tumor, because I think you were born with it, by the way, tumors can take, unless they're very aggressive, and usually benign tumors aren't that aggressive, but they can, if they're inoperable, they can continue to grow and create all kinds of problems. But it can take up to 10 years for, let's say, a normal tumor to grow to a place of palpitation before we actually feel its placement or significance, or it can be palpitated, whereas aggressive tumors can grow in months or maybe under a couple years to a devastating, or problematic, symptomatic aspect. So I think you were born with this. I think it took years for it to grow. And I think, because this is what I heard when I listened to your question, that you were very curious about modern medicine, that you really wanted to experience a hospital at a young age. I don't know if you ever contemplated medicine as a career path, or perhaps study holistic health as a facilitator to assist Western medicine. But I think your reason was medical, that you wanted to experience something medical. And it could have also been that maybe you had a past life where you had a medical procedure and you passed away and you wanted to have a redo to help heal your soul if there was fear involved. The depression, most depression, so 96 to 97% of humans who have depression don't have depression. They're in their minds analyzing and processing. That will make anybody sad, uncomfortable, unhappy, agitated, frustrated. Because again, it's a logical tool. It can't process information, it can't process your history, it can't understand the future, it cannot connect to your intuition or your higher self. So it creates low vibrational experiences, and that's when we feel what we determine as depression. So stop thinking, analyzing, and processing, please. It's a complete waste of your time. You'll feel better and happier and lighter when you're present in the present moment. That would be ideal for you. I hope that's helpful, and kind of exciting that you were born with this tumor, at least from my perspective. Great.
Hi, Marie. My name is Tricia, and I'm a nurse from Massachusetts.
Hello.
I'm in the middle of many transitions in my life. Perimenopause, my children becoming adults and leaving the nest, losing my beloved dog, and having an unfulfilling job, to name a few. In the midst of this, I've developed right eye redness along with cysts and dryness in both eyes, which now prevent me from wearing contacts, but also prompted me to stop taking Unisom for persistent insomnia I've experienced since being pregnant with my daughter, who's now 18. Unisom is an anticholinergic, as you know, so I figured I wasn't helping my cause here with dry, irritated eyes in the least by taking this every night, especially for 18 years. However, it has been a lifesaver in shutting my overactive mind off so I can actually get some rest.
That's the issue.
Without it, I get about 2 to 4 hours of sleep at best, which is not enough for me to function. The problem sometimes is falling asleep, but it's always staying asleep. Getting my mind to quiet enough so it can drift back to sleep is my biggest obstacle, and always has been. I don't drink caffeine. I've always been very sensitive hormonally to any changes and fluctuations. So as you can imagine, perimenopause has been absolutely brutal, and I'm definitely going through it very intensely right now. I'm grieving many things.
Yeah.
So I realize that doesn't support a relaxed mind for restful sleep. Can you give me any recommendations on where to focus my efforts to regain some sense of joy in my life? I feel like I'm trying everything and not gaining much traction in any area. And it's so frustrating and exhausting, to say the least. Thank you so much, Marie. Take care.
Thank you, Tricia. I think that was a good call to stop the Unisom just because you've been taking it for approximately 18 years, almost 2 decades. And I'm kind of a fan of, should we switch out even our supplements after a decade or two? Would our body digest or absorb a different formula? I believe in kind of natural detoxification. Like, I shouldn't be eating sugar right now. I'm eating too much, but I'm not eating dairy right now, right? So I'm taking dairy out of my body for, I don't know, maybe the next year or two, just because I'd like to naturally detox from things. And my body's actually much happier without dairy, even though I love the protein from it. It's a quick source of protein. So good. I'm glad you stopped the Unisom. You can't quiet your mind, and you did a great job of diagnosing yourself. You're right on. It's from your overactive mind. You can't quiet your mind at night if you haven't learned how to do it during the day. It needs to be a practice that you do throughout the day. And guess what? The brain works 10 times better if you leave it alone. So you're not going to lose your intellect or your nursing abilities or other technical things that you need to do in order to be a happy, productive person in the world. You're not going to lose any of that. You're going to gain wisdom, deeper understanding, better clinical analysis by not overthinking, analyzing, and processing. So you need to start practicing this during the day. And I would recommend becoming present, having moments of present, even when I'm doing this podcast or anything else, in order to help me get into a stronger intuitive frequency. I need to have the present moment right at my side. It would be best if we were there all day long, but I think that's too much to ask of the human race right now. So even right now, one of my feet is touching this plush carpet that this desk and my chair are sitting on. And I'm focusing my mind on the ball of my foot to feel the plush carpet. Then I can feel all my toes and how some are feeling more depth of the carpet, more on the surface of the carpet. And I'm allowing myself to have an experience with the present moment, which is my foot. One of my feet is on top of a plush carpet. That's it. The present moment is so simple. It's very, very, in a way, kind of boring for the mind. The mind thinks that the present moment is kind of silly and a waste of time, but it's the complete opposite. It's valuable. It's powerful. It helps us to regain the necessary insight that we need in the moment, so we can hear the divine, so we can feel it, so we can get solutions to all of our needs that we might have. Also, you do need to get your hormones checked. Progesterone quiets the mind. I take mine at night. Some naturopaths don't recommend that. One of mine does. So I take mine at night, and I take the sustained release so it can continue to release while I'm sleeping. Or if I wake up, I can go back to sleep right away. Most naturopaths, or the ones I know anyway, which I didn't know them in my 30s, actually start many of their patients on progesterone in their 30s. So perimenopause may start in the 40s, or for some women in their 50s, but it could really start in the 30s for some hormones. But I would have all of your hormones checked by an ND. And I don't know where you live because I don't think you've told us. And so hopefully you have NDs licensed in your state, and then only bioidentical. So that means they need to be created by a compounded pharmacy, which normal pharmacies are not compounded. They use drugs that are created in a lab that are not natural, where compounded pharmacies are created from plants. Yeah, it's plant-based. So you have the answer. You knew the answer. It's from this overthinking, analytical mind that you kind of are trapped in that rut with it. And you need to start practicing in the day to get present so that you can start quieting your mind, and you'll get comfortable with that vibration and that frequency. So when you go to lay down, you can get into that flow of a quiet mind as you're falling asleep, which can help you to sleep for longer periods of time. Of course, if things don't work out, quickly with what I'm describing, please go get another sleep aid, but not the same one. Get something different, or your naturopath might have some great ideas. Magnesium helps. I like to take zinc and magnesium along with my progesterone before I go to bed. I take other things too, like vitamin K and boron and B6. Sometimes B vitamins help people sleep because, especially if their mind is so wound up, it actually feeds their brain in a really interesting way. I have a friend who takes all of her vitamins only at night before she goes to bed, mostly because they kind of disrupt her stomach, and it just helps her sleep. She sleeps great most of the time. So I think you can play around with this. And of course, losing a dog and having your kids move away is kind of a grief scenario. But there could be a whole bunch of other, you could be excited, things going on that your mind isn't focused on because the mind isn't emotional. It doesn't know what you're really feeling. So being quiet throughout the day helps you to get in touch with what you're really feeling, what's really going on. And that can also give you solutions about what's next, where to go get a job that's not boring, that's interesting. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Massy. I'm calling from Germany. I have a question about my parents. Both already crossed over. I can feel my father around. He passed 1 year ago. I feel like he's very interested in life in general.
Yeah, he's connected for sure.
He's very happy over there.
Yeah.
And but he's trying to help me. So he's interested in my life specifically. But my mom, I never felt her being close. I have the feeling that she's upset or not very interested in life or being around. So I just want to ask you if I feel about them is right, and
good question.
Or if they have any messages for me. I'm very grateful for being able to connect with you, and thank you very much for all you're doing. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Massy. I think you read your parents well. I'm just going to give a slightly different swing on it, definition of it. Your dad is really happy for all kinds of reasons. Being on the other side is a blissful experience for the majority of whoever's over there. But when your dad left his body, he got to see a lot of truth as his body was moving through the dimensions to move to the other side. It took him about 2 days, 2 to 3 days to cross over. And he was having this really cool, like quantum awareness experience. It's often described to me in a way like having or becoming a Jungian psychologist, just like that, just having such an awareness. So your dad's was moving his soul, his energy, through the realms and looking down at earth and go, oh, that's why that person was that way. Oh, that's why that happened. That's why that bugged me. So he is excited and he does spend time close to you because he just feels like he understands you in a different way. Now, the other side is really big. There's tons of stuff people could be doing. Your dad is choosing to be close to you. Not all souls want to hang out with their DNA when they cross over. And your mother likes to go explore and travel, but she is a little upset, not at you, has nothing to do with you. She watched her life review and she did not like it. She's finally coming to terms that it's probably accurate, but she just had a different definition of who she was and what her life was like. And then she watches this life review and she's like, that's not what happened. Rewind it. That did not happen. And she even walked out of the life review a couple times. So I believe at this point, she's seen it 5 or 6 times, which you can go back and review it as often as you want. But she did it out of defiance. She wanted to prove that it didn't happen that way. But it did. So your mother is annoyed with herself and a little disappointed that her life wasn't what she thought it was. It wasn't a bad life by any stretch of the imagination, but perhaps your mother was missing some consciousness that she thought she had, but was lacking. And evolution is not a race. We're all just taking our own perfect time. It's kind of like when you have a friend in your life or a partner or a parent, and I'm trying to help you to understand what your mom went through when she had this realization that her life review was not what she thought it was going to be. Even if she didn't have an understanding that there was going to be a life review, she just had a very different perception of how she would have been viewed from God or the universe. So imagine, I'm just using this as an example, somebody has woken up in a relationship and looked at their partner or their parent or a friend and went, shoot. I mean, and a bunch of other swear words, and went, oh, wow. And we've all done that. We've all had someone that we either admired or we were in love with, or we had been friends with for a long period of time, or a parent, and we have a shift in consciousness. We've grown. We've had an elevation in our awareness, and now we're looking at everything differently from a completely different lens. And we're kind of shocked and surprised. We're like, no way, that person's not like that. Oh my gosh, that person's like that. And they've always been like that. We may even ask a friend, hey, have you noticed this about Tony? You know, our friend Tony, I just had this realization about Tony. And I'm just like, is this brand new? Did Tony just start acting this way? And the friend goes, no, Tony's always been this way. Didn't you know? So we've all had those moments. And that's kind of what happened to your mom, where she just had this realization about herself. She shouldn't be upset about it. She did the best she could. Everyone does. Everyone's always doing the best they can. But she's not quite over it. But it has nothing to do with you. And she's not hanging out with you. She says, your dad's doing it. He needs to. It's fine. She's exploring the outer limits of the universe, and she likes it. Thank you, everyone, for listening today to Where Energy Meets the Divine. I have fall classes coming up. One is all about preventing and healing disease. It's a 12-week coaching, so I don't take more than 40 people in that course. And the other one is an 8-week, unlimited number of people course on self-love, falling deeply in love with yourself, which is key to really developing our magnificence and enhancing our ability to hear, see, and feel beyond the multisensory world, plus everything else. Only life gets better when you can feel authentic love for yourself. Have a good day. Bye-bye.